Picture this scenario with me. You finally get the opportunity to talk to someone in English, and you've spent the last months really putting some effort into trying to learn English, and you think that you're finally able to do that. When it comes to time and you start the conversation by asking them some question, the other person seems like they're talking like 2x speed, or if not that, it seems like you are talking in .5 speed. Sounds familiar? Yeah, I do know that feeling. Have you ever gotten stuck trying to speak English, even though you knew exactly what you wanted to say? Well, today I'm teaching you a practice that unlocks fluency and correct your pronunciation in maybe just a few days. The best part, it doesn't matter your level of English right now. You will see results that will surprise you. So most people think that learning English is just about memorizing words. Have you ever seen someone memorize everything and then when it comes to the time to speak, they make so many mistakes that it's kind of unbearable to hear them? Or maybe it's you that's speaking and maybe you're trying to say the words, but they do not come out correctly. A very common mistake is saying waste instead of wasted, very clear in this way, while in the whole phrase. Taking off plurals, taking off s of the end of words, and so many other mistakes that can confuse the listener. If this has ever happened to you, relax. Today you're going to learn how to fix that with a simple yet powerful technique. And I'm going to show you with a real example with a student of mine right here in this video. Of course, after you click the like button below. This exercise is like a magical portal to your learning. Imagine that you need to carry like 20 bricks to the top of a building. So like if you have to climb the stairs, it's an impossible mission, right? Now, what if you had a portal directly to the top? That would make things so much easier. Like you just get the brick, throw it to the portal, it's there in the top. And that's what we're going to do with your pronunciation today. And the bricks are going to be the corrections that we're going to make. And we're going to do that directly to the portal into your mind, so you don't need to think about them. You just say them and they're right. But what kind of mistakes can you fix? I'll show you some of the most common ones. Dropping the end of words, such as in plurals or the ing sound. Misplacing the stressed syllables, very common, which completely changes the meaning of the word sometimes. Speaking too quickly, making it hard to understand. And this is very, very common because when we're learning, most people tend to do a very stupid mistake, which is very funny. You're looking at the word, but you're saying a completely different word. You know why that happens? That's the same thing that you ask me like, Igor, please read this text. And I take off my glasses and I do this. I'm not going to be able to read. Most of the beginners in the language, even intermediate and sometimes advanced people, they kind of look at a different word or a word they never seen in English or a word that's weird to them, and they do not really face the word. They kind of imagine what's the pronunciation like. So let's fix this and many other mistakes now with a guided practice, but of course only if you like the video already, which I guess you did. So first, you need a short but interesting text. Something you like. It could be a meme or a song or even a conversation that you want to have or that you created whilst you were practicing or your English, creating phrases and dialogues and etc. That could be it. Or even like maybe you're talking with ChatGPT and having a text conversation there. You can practice with this conversation, but of course I will suggest here that you choose one paragraph maximum, and this paragraph should not be very long. Got it? Then let's move to the next step. Now for the second step, you're going to read the text. For this time, I want you to do it mentally. Visualize the words in your mind. Kind of try to imagine this scenario and really understand. And please, if you're just beginning and you do not know the meaning of some words in the text, feel free to go to an online dictionary, search for the meaning of these words so you can really understand the text. Because here you're practicing pronunciation, not understanding. For this practice, I got here a text that I created. It's a conversation between two friends. The first step is you have to read the text and try to understand it. If you don't know some words of the text, you should have a dictionary next to you, online dictionary, or ChatGPT if you prefer, and look up the words and then try to understand the full text. This is very important because of the next step. So now you're going to record your first attempt, but take it slow, as if you were speaking to someone face to face, because many people do the mistake of trying to do this exercise, and what they do is like, even though they record the audio of them doing the first attempt and reading the text, they read it like they're reading. They don't read it like they're talking to someone. And it's a completely different kind of pronunciation. So even though it's a text and even though you're reading, try to record the audio and say it like you were saying, as if you were saying that to someone in real life. If you make a lot of mistakes here, it doesn't really matter. It's your first audio, just keep it. Record this audio on your voice memo, on your voice recorder app of your phone, or you just can create a group on your message app and record an audio there. It doesn't really matter. I just want you to record the audio. I don't know if you understood. Now comes the next step. In the first step, I ask you to understand the text, because now you're going to record the first audio. In the first audio, I don't want you to worry about any pronunciation in specific. The only thing I want you to do for the first audio, imagine that you're talking to someone. Imagine that you are this friend and you're talking to the other friend. There are two different readings. If I read just like reading, like, man, my weekend was pretty good, just relax, had some food, nothing to... This is terrible. Okay? You have to imagine the situation. So, man, my weekend was pretty good. Just relaxed, had some good food, nothing too crazy. You see, so I am imagining the scenario. That's the only thing you need to do in the first audio. Record the audio and I'll give you the feedback.
Man, my weekend was pretty good. Just relaxed it. Had some good food. Nothing too crazy. But man, on Sunday I was walking by the square with a friend and I was this habit. The cutest thing in the world. I don't know why, but like for a moment I seriously thought about talking. It hurt, but I don't know. There were a lot of people around. What do you think? Think I should have done it?
This is a very big text, so naturally it's going to have a lot of corrections. But in general, it was good. There was one thing that was just lack of attention. For example, I seriously thought about taking it home, but there's a comma. Yeah, so taking it home, but I don't know. There were, yeah, so. For the third step, this is where you notice the mistakes. And you might be dropping syllables or speaking too fast. And your role here is to really know what you need to improve, but do it once at a time. So now in this next step, you're going to practice the words that you got wrong separately. After that, you can read the text again, focusing on the correct pronunciation. No need to rush. I just really want you to just practice reading the text while you also correct your pronunciation in the words that you saw that you got wrong. Could be like a syllable that you got wrong. You can check on ChatGPT or dictionaries online for the correct pronunciation of that. First correction, relaxed. So you have to say relaxed. I do not remember how you said it, but you got the stress wrong.
Man, my weekend was pretty good. Just relaxed it.
Yeah, so you said relaxed. You should say relaxed. Nothing. Had some good food, nothing too crazy. That's how you said it.
Had some good food. Nothing too crazy.
Nothing. Yeah, you said nothing. The correct is nothing.
But man, on Sunday I was walking by the square with a friend and I was this habit.
Oh yeah, okay, so you forgot to say saw. Yeah, you said was instead of saw, but this is lack of attention only, yeah? So I saw this, and here you got the R wrong. So you said habit, it's actually rabbit. Next correction is on the word cutest. If you prefer, I think it's better for you if you prefer to say the British way. So it's like the cutest thing.
I don't know why, but like for...
This was perfect. I don't know why, but like... For a moment, perfect. Yeah, very good.
Moment I seriously thought about.
Okay, this word is seriously. And the mistake was here. You said don't. This is thought. Because it's the past of think. Yeah, I thought. So repeat with me. I seriously thought about. The next one is here. You said...
Talking. It hurt, but I don't know. There were a lot of people around.
Yeah, so there were a lot of people. Yes, because the pronunciation of where is when you ask where someone is, yeah? Here is were. There were a lot of people. So if you try to do this exercise alone, you can, but you have to check for the right pronunciation. For example, you can copy the text or select the text that you're reading, paste on ChatGPT, yeah, and press on here to hear the pronunciation, right? Also, you can do it Google Translate. Then you compare with real pronunciation. It's what we are doing, yeah? Then we note down the most important mistakes. Now, what we have to do is we have to correct the mistakes one by one. Never all the mistakes at the same time, always one by one. So first we are going to correct relaxed. To do that, you are going to record an audio from man until food, and you can, every time that we correct one mistake, yeah, we focus on this mistake. So while you read from man to food, I want you to focus on getting relaxed correct. Every other thing can be wrong, no problem, because we are focusing on one problem. So if everything else is terrible, but relaxed is correct, we go to the next one.
Man, my weekend was pretty good. Just relaxed. Had some good food.
Relaxed was correct. We are going to do this with each one of the pronunciations, and at the end, we're going to record another out. So let's keep doing with the other pronunciation. Now with the corrections made, you're going to record a second audio. But this time, you're going to focus on two things at once. So for the second audio, you're going to record the audio again, focusing not only on trying to sound natural, but at the same time trying to remember the corrections, okay? The more natural, the more you don't care, the more you're calm, the better. The more you're worried about getting everything correctly, the more it's going to sound robotic. So even though I want you to make the corrections, I want you as well to try to sound natural. Everything. The last step is I want you to record another audio, okay? And now I want you to focus on two things. First, try to remember the pronunciations. It's okay if you forget some of them, no problem. And the second thing and most important is you have to read like you're talking to someone. So relax, okay? After making the corrections, many people read like this. Man, my weekend was pretty... No, man, relax. And let's check your last audio.
Man, my weekend was pretty good. Just relax. Had some good food. Nothing too crazy. But man, on Sunday, I was walking by the square with a friend, and I saw this rabbit.
Perfect.
The cutest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like, for a moment, I seriously thought about taking it home, but I don't know. There were a lot of people around.
Yeah, okay.
What do you think? Think I should have done it?
Yeah, all right. So out of the corrections, the mistakes, yeah, this time you got 80% correct. Most of it. It's very hard, mostly because this text is very big, yeah. So we have a lot of corrections and it's very difficult to get all of them right. But every time you do this exercise, if you get more than 80% correct, it's perfect, it's amazing. It's very hard to get 100%, especially in a text this big. So the only two things that you got wrong here was nothing and thought, yeah? You made a close sound, nothing and thought, which is actually na and tha, yeah? But everything else was correct, relaxed, rabbit, cutest, and a were also correct. So now you're going to compare your first audio with the last one. Listen carefully. Did you notice the difference? Did you get all the words that you got wrong the first time? Did you get right this time? That is real progress. If you didn't get everything right, relax. I kind of give my students like an 80%. So if you got 80% right and you notice this, then you can proceed and do this exercise again with another text. And I highly recommend to do this every day for at least 1 week. Not only you're going to see the difference every time that you compare your audios, but you're going to notice a real difference when you compare by the end of the week. Now, let's do a comparison, okay? We're going to compare. Let's hear your last audio.
Man, my weekend was pretty good. Just relax. Had some good food. Nothing too crazy. But man, on Sunday, I was walking by the square with a friend, and I saw this rabbit, the cutest thing in the world. I don't know why, but like, for a moment I serious
This is your last audio,
thought
yeah?
about
The last correction.
taking it home, but I don't know. There were a lot of people around. What do you think? Think I should have done it?
Now let's see your first audio.
Man, my weekend was pretty good. Just relaxed it. Had some good food. Nothing too crazy. But man, on Sunday I was walking by the square with a friend and I was this habit, the cutest thing in the world. I don't know why, but like for a moment I
Let me show
seriously
you the
thought
camera.
about talking. Uh, it hurt, but I don't know. There were a lot of people around. What do you think? Think I should have done it? What do
So, is it better, man? Like the last audio was much better, yeah? Basically, this is the exercise. So, when you compare now the first audio, yeah, or the last audio, we compared first the last audio with your first audio, you see a huge difference. And every time you do this, the more the easier it gets. So every great person that speaks English very nicely, like native-like, and they're non-native, they were in your position. So it's just like they did this. They focused on pronunciation as well. And this is one of the practices that you can do that's very easy, and you can do this like in maybe 15, 20 minutes. Every day, 1 week, you're gonna notice a very big difference. Okay, so this was just one of my methods of learning pronunciation, and it works every time. I did this with every single language I learned, with every single accent in English that I learned as well. And now it's your turn to put it into practice. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do, right? Hit the like button, subscribe. Also, tell me in the comments, which English word have you always had difficulty pronouncing? I really want to know. Well, until next time, keep practicing.